This is astronomy for you. This video is a look at the sun throughout all of June 2025. This is looking at the sun in H alpha, which is a very narrow band of light in the red visible spectrum. This is at 656 nanometers. This is especially good for seeing surface details on the sun. It's because this is at this wavelength, excited hydrogen emits light. So instead of getting all sorts of background light, because the sun puts out tons and tons of light, instead you can just see this excited hydrogen emitting this specific wavelength of light. This specifically helps us see a few different types of features on the sun. The dark, kind of string or worm-like looking dark patches on the sun, those are called filaments. They are basically tubes of plasma that are slightly cooler and denser than the plasma around it, and because of that, they show up as being dark against the bright back surface. The other thing we're looking for, you can see the very bright regions. Those are called active regions. Active regions are parts of the sun that are active. Go figure. So how are they active? They're active in that they can produce solar flares. So every once in a while in these videos, you're going to see some flashes or some flickers. Those are solar flares. They look tiny, but each one of them are so powerful. They're basically more powerful than every nuclear weapon that mankind has ever created. As if all of them went off at once? No, these are more powerful. So solar flares are judged by how powerful they are. In fact, they're broken out into a classification system. So the very most powerful are called X-class solar flares. Then below that you have M-class solar flares. And then below that is B-class solar flares, and below that C-class solar flares. I know it's kind of confusing, but that's the way the system works. So during this month, July, there were no X-class solar flares. We had some last month in June, but we did not have any in July 2025. So right now we're about 1 year after the peak of solar maximum. That happened back in August of 2024. At the time, we didn't know if it was going to be the maximum, but looking back now, if you look at the average daily sunspot number, it definitely was the highest and it was the peak. As well, in that month, we had a number of solar storms, but we also had some big X-class solar flares and storms later on in that fall. In fact, I can remember back in October, I think it was around October 10th, we had a major geomagnetic storm. We ended up having widespread aurora, even in the part of the U.S. where I'm at. I'm in the southeastern part of Michigan. Even here, I was able to see aurora, which was super cool. So anyway, this month, no X-class solar flares, but we did have a number of M-class solar flares, which are still incredibly powerful and still a lot of fun to see. They can impact our solar weather and have an overall impact on Earth. So that's why we keep a very close eye on these things. Now, for those of you who check out my channel often, you may know about the most powerful geomagnetic storms in history and some of the largest solar flares ever recorded. One that I refer to a lot on my channel is called the Carrington event. So this event was named after Richard Carrington. He was a British astronomer who was looking at sunspots on the sun when all of a sudden he saw a flash, a really big flash. It turned out he had seen the largest solar flare in recorded history. This was back in 1859. In many ways, that was a very good thing. At the time, the most advanced thing that we had on the planet was a telegraph system. That's how we were communicating. And at these telegraph stations, there ended up being massive sparking, and fires actually broke out as well. And then they ended up with these massive aurora events in the following days. Some people wrote about it saying that it was so bright at night in different parts of the world that, you know, you didn't even need other light sources, that it was enough to light up the sky. Modern astronomers and heliophysicists have attempted to try to calculate how powerful this solar flare would have been, and it kind of defies even the current modern classification. It would have been orders of magnitude more powerful than any of the others that we've seen since we've started closely monitoring solar flares. So the question becomes, what if this type of event would have happened during the modern era? What type of destruction could it wreak? And it really could do a lot of damage. Every electronic basically that would have been facing the sun at the time could have been impacted. Nowadays, each one of us carry around a cell phone in our pockets. That would have been a pretty bad situation. We know that lithium-ion batteries are notorious for catching on fire. So can you imagine having a sudden event where your phone spontaneously burst into flames in your pocket? Not the greatest. I think there's still a lot of speculation exactly what could have happened. Not enough is known about it. Also, we talk about the potential for damaging our electrical grid. We've been doing a lot to harden our grid, but this type of event probably could have knocked out power for the majority of the world that